What's up, freakazoids? Yep. Hey, did I tell you guys, it was weird that my wife was at the store and this lady wanted her to give her the number of how to order the We Are Freaks shirts, even though she doesn't even watch the show. I think it was because I live in Oregon, Portland, where Keep Portland Weird is the motto. And I'm always trying to make it normal again, okay? Doesn't seem to work. Am I on the air right now? I don't see any comments related to anything that I'm saying. That's how I can tell if anybody's even here. Okay, there you go. Okay, you can hear. Okay, good. I couldn't even tell I was on the air. It was like every comment was, "Hi, hey, how's it going, Joe? Hey, Jim, hey, how's it going? Cool. All right, Carol, hey, how's it going? Hey, Jim, hey, Steve, hey, yeah, all right." All right. Basically, the only update in the Canada case is that it turns out that the police were not able to substantiate the tip that was given in that the town. You know, yesterday when we were on the air and people go, "Gray, gray, 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 gray. They caught him, 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 they caught him." Well, maybe not so much. Right? Now the thing is I was hopeful because, you know, you had the helicopter hovering above that kind of thing, but I was really like, well, let's wait until we get law enforcement. But I thought it was a good chance that was real, but it wasn't. All right, so there you go. But it was amazing. I was just trying to do the show about them moving to that town, and my God, 7,000 people started typing. Well, there wasn't even 7,000 watching, but right. And you know, I'm sorry that so many of you Canadians felt like I was dissing on you. I never said that all Canadians are this or all Canadians are that. What I said was, during this case, I've never seen so many like ignorant people. Like here's the thing: is I cover cases from wherever the hell I want to cover them from. I don't have to live in Canada to work through a case. Okay, so when you type in, "Oh, well, I'm from Canada and you don't know crap. I'm from Canada. Oh, you're American. You don't know shit." You know, that kind of thing. That's not going to go over very well. And I'm just going to tell you what I think back. You know, maybe I didn't need to tell anybody that, you know, the United States spends over $700 billion a year in military funding, where Canada spends around 30. Okay, and even if you account for the population, they still spend about half per person that we do. So, you know, I think there's some, you know, reason that people get a little bit frustrated. You get what I'm saying? It's weird. Okay, but I like all the people that, you know, most of the people that I've met from Canada, they come on the show. I know them. Okay. I have no problem. No problem at all. I had a problem with all of the absolute morons that kept commenting in the comments. They're not there anymore because I deleted them. All right? I removed them from the channel and the comment themselves, because that's just the way I do it. And that's what's kind of cool when you own your own channel. You can just, boom, poof, gone, you know? That's what you get to do. All right? So, and I also can just say what I think. And I like that. You know, you don't even have to agree with it. I'm just trying to, I mean, it's, I don't know. I was very frustrated, and I think there's a lot of other people who saw the same thing. You know, just, oh, it's us. It's our case. Don't mess with it. Well, you guys follow all of our damn cases, right? So here there is a case. It's interesting, and yes, we're going to follow it. All right? I'm sorry. All right, there you go. So now that's it, and hopefully we can all just To borrow a phrase from Rodney King, can't we all just get along? All right. What do you...
The plastic and cooking.
Blue's over there trying to steal some food. Something like that. Yeah, well, that's... If you're buffering, it's your system, not mine. Okay, it's not my system that's slowing you down. It means you have a slow internet connection. I've got green bars, no drop frames, everything's working. All right, but hold on for 1 second. Yeah, I just remember we're both doing a bunch of, we've been watching a lot of streaming shows, and I just realized she can't really stream a full-on show while I'm doing this, because it really cuts down on the bandwidth, I guess. Okay, so here, let's just do some of the updates here on other cases, all right? I'm actually getting really bored, to be honest with you, of the Canada one. It's like all this bullshit information coming out. You know what? We don't even know where they are at all right now. Like, they could be in the United States somewhere at this point. They could be 1,000. I mean, we don't have a clue. Last time anybody saw them was around, I think, like the 22nd or so. Maybe even the 21st. It's crazy. Now, so all this little bogus information going back and forth is just absolutely allowed them to run free. It's wild. Okay, so whenever if there's a big break in the case or something, and maybe a confirmed sighting, I'll jump back on it. But at this point, it's just sort of beating a dead horse. Okay. Nay. Maybe it doesn't quite sound like that, but I think it's the other way around, actually. No, I think that's it. Well, it wouldn't even make a sound because it was dead, right? All right. All right, so I'm just going to... There's this missing person case. There's like no information on it, but I just thought I'd put it out there just so that it's out there. And if anybody has any information on it, call the authorities. All right, so hold on. All right, right here. I got to switch screens, though. Hold on. All right, so... Let me turn down the audio. So this woman is missing, and she's only been missing since, I think, the 28th, which is yesterday. So this must be a case where they're really concerned about it. I don't have any other information other than the Vestavia Hills Police Department is searching for a missing woman whose family believes she may be in danger. So you kind of think there's probably another guy or something involved. According to police, Carol Ann Koss was last seen driving a 2005 gray Honda Accord with license plate pound 174-9AR1. Koss has been missing since 10:45 a.m. on July 28th. I mean, so that's just yesterday. And that's really unusual for police to come forward in a case like that soon. Yeah, she's in Alabama. It's weird that it doesn't even say that. Well, I guess right there. Vestavia Hills, Alabama, right there. So if anybody has any information about Koss' whereabouts, contact Sergeant Bruce Tritt at 205-978-0120 or the sergeant's office at 205-978-0140. All right? So that's all there is. I've looked up 20 articles, and they all say the exact same thing. I wish they would be a little bit more specific, like why does the family think she's in danger? It's usually, in a case like this, they must know that there's probably been somebody that's been stalking or harassing, some sort of, maybe an ex of some kind. And I mean, this is speculation, but I'm just speculating because the police are jumping in this quickly because they are even aware of these things. They normally don't come in this quick like this. So this is what she looks like. And if you happen to live in Alabama or anywhere around that area and you know anything about that, call again the Bruce Tritt at 205-978-0120 or the sergeant's office at 205-978-0140. And her name again is Carol Ann Koss. All right, there you go. All right, now this case right here, you remember this one from a couple days ago? The initial report was police are looking for any information that could lead to them to a missing child after his parents were found dead in an apparent murder-suicide during a traffic stop in Montana. Right, these parents, like, right, this guy and this lady right here. And they both had criminal warrants, you know, custody kind of stuff. And unfortunately, they found a body that's likely to be this child right here. And they found him in an area where they think that they had been. So a 2-year-old Aiden Salcido was last seen with his parents on June 4th of this year, but was not found with them when they died. So the parents killed themselves, murder-suicide pact. Montana police have found the body of a toddler that they believe is 2-year-old Aiden Salcido. The body was found in a remote area of Montana, in an area near where his parents were seen by several witnesses in the days prior. The body has not yet been positively identified, but it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, witnesses saw them there and they found a toddler dead. Okay, I'd say that's like 99.9 with 17 not more nines after that. So there you go. There's that. All right. Well, maybe we'll switch right over to this topic right here. See, the thing is I want to talk about this hot car death stuff. Okay. And I'm actually getting really sick of the people out there that immediately go, "Oh my God, that never happened to me. I'm so much better than everybody. Oh my God, I'm the greatest. Oh boy, you're they just think they're so awesome." All right. And the thing is this hot car death can happen to anybody. This one isn't anymore. Justin Ross Harris case is exactly the same. And the thing is people just didn't like Justin Ross Harris because the reason he was distracted wasn't something socially acceptable. He was distracted because he was sexting and communicating, and he was just literally just, that's all he thought about. And that's why. But he did not intentionally kill his kid, but the overwhelming public sentiment was, "Oh, he killed his kid. Oh my God." I go, "How about this? How about that? How about that?" And it was just an absolute joke. Okay. So in this case here, I could do the same thing if I wanted to this guy. I mean, watch how I can word all this crap. But it comes down to the prosecutor wanting to prosecute somebody. That's what it comes down to. All right, if they want to make a case, they can just go out and make one. That's why we get innocent people on death row. Okay, because they are able to make cases even when there isn't one. So here you go. The father of his 1-year-old twins died after he left them in a hot car for 8 hours. How do you just leave a kid in a car for 8 hours? I mean, this guy had to have done it on purpose. I mean, he had twins sitting in the back seat, right? Wow, wouldn't they have been making noises together, chatting and laughing when he got to where his work and parked his car? Oh my God.
Thanks for spreading the word about these cases.
Right. See, that's what everybody always says. It's not even careless. The funny thing is it's a bad thing. And it's a bad thing meaning everyone wants to come up with these ideas. Like this stupid CNN anchor that I just watched. Actually on this video right here. The person on this video here. She says, you just can't leave your kid in the car for 8 hours. What are these people thinking? It's like, yeah, because that's what he thought of doing. Yeah, that's right. He went into work thinking, boy, I'll just leave my kid in the car for 8 hours. I mean, these people don't even use their brains when they talk here. The way this works is, now, here's what I hate doing, is when I give you an example, you get all these holier-than-thou morons. They go, oh, how can you compare your kid to that? Okay, listen. What I'm trying to say here is I have done this before. And here's the thing. This happens to people who have to really use their brain a lot when they work. You know, like I'm a coder, and that's what, Justin Ross Harris did that. This happened to an Intel employee. This guy works at a hospital. He's always thinking about stuff. So the thing is what happens is you get distracted because your mind is thinking about so many things. How many of you have driven down the freeway and thought, okay, here's my exit, and then within the 10 seconds that it was going to be to get to that exit, you've already forgotten, and you drive by it a mile, and then you go, oh crap, I should have, and you remember now because you knew that you were driving somewhere. Okay, but see, that's even a big difference in this case. Where you're taking your kids to daycare, but it's something you don't normally do, and you start driving to work, and then your mind starts to wander, and you're thinking about work, and you pull over your car, and you just get out of your car, and you're still thinking about it, and you're kind of running. I mean, I've actually done it where I've gone grocery shopping. I've told you guys this before, most of you. Grocery shopping, completely filled car. I drive all the way home. And while I'm driving home, I'm thinking about different ways I could write this code to get something achieved. And then I get out of the car and I go inside the house. And I've been in there for hours. And then I go, holy crap, I forgot my groceries. And I go running outside and everything's all hot and crap. And I have to throw half of it away. Okay, that same mechanism is what happens to the hot car death parents. Now when you go, well, how can you compare your kid to groceries? Well, that's not what I'm doing, okay? I'm not comparing the kid to groceries. I'm saying that the mechanism is exactly the same, okay? And it was just a miracle that I even remembered that I got groceries. It probably was because I went to the refrigerator and thought, oh, wait a minute, oh my God, I went to the store earlier. That's it. But if you've already forgotten your child in the car and you go inside, there's no trigger at all anymore because your mind actually thinks that you probably dropped them off at daycare. Okay? It's something, if you've done something, it's hard to explain to you, to people who don't have this, haven't had anything like that happen to them, but it really does happen. And it can happen to any one of you out there. All the holier-than-thou types. That they are the greatest soccer mom in the world. It can happen to them. It really can. And it does all the time. And it sucks. All right? And I wish you guys would be a hell of a lot more, like when you see these cases. Like, I swear to God, the Justin Ross Harris case made me have less hope in humanity. Because the prosecution just hated the guy because of the sexting. He didn't act exactly how they wanted him to. And they just made this whole case out of absolutely nothing. Absolute garbage. Okay? And I mean, they actually, at the preliminary hearing, they made up stuff that was proven wrong at trial, false. And then you kind of wonder, like, well, wow, the judge was even... he based the probable cause on all this false information. How did it even make it to trial? But the damage was already done. People believed all these kind of things. Of course, there's no way they'd be pressing charges unless he really did it. Yeah, that's embarrassing. It just really frustrates me. I feel absolutely terrible for this guy. Yeah, and I think the only way to fix this problem is to take remembering anything out of it. Like people keep saying, hey, here's a good way to do it. Leave your phone on the seat with the child, and then you'll remember. No, because you'd have to remember to do that. Okay, you can't have any remembering be any part of it. It has to be when you set the child down, it activates a weight of some sort. And then if you once the car door is opened again and shut, it sets off the alarm if that weight is still compressed at all. So it'll go, and then you have to go back, and you can only do it by opening up the back door, for example. Okay, that's the only way to do this crap. Or, you can have other things too, like if your kid's at part of daycare, this would solve the daycare issue, where the parents have to call daycare. The daycare has to call the parents, both parents. If the kid is even 10 minutes late, they have to call both parents. And if the parents do not answer the phone, then police are dispatched to both the home and the work of maybe the dad or whoever's working. The mother, dad, whatever they want to do, or the work of both of them, because they are at daycare, right? So you send police there, and there's a fine now that has to be paid by the parents because the police had to go do that because you didn't answer your phone. Okay, and I'm sure the city would be more than happy to start raking in the $100 fines that you're going to have to pay because you didn't answer your phone. I think that would work perfectly, don't you think? Yeah. You call the police, they go rushing over there and say, hey, is Jim here? And they say, yeah, he's right here. Well, why didn't you answer your phone? Your kid is not at daycare. Oh my God, he's out in the car. Boom, boom, boom. You're there. It's 30 minutes later, you save the kid's life. All right? Boom. I think that would be absolutely perfect when your kids are in daycare, because daycare seems to be a massive, like if you took a percentage of these incidents, I bet you it's 60 to 75% of these incidents have something to do with daycare. And obviously the kids never made it there. Devastated Gray. I didn't have a hot car death in my family. Well, that's too bad. Puffy woo woo. I guess they'll have to be being fined. That's where you got to call the office. All right, and they have to. Then the office person can go over and ask, "Hey, did you drive your kids to school?" And the guy, "Oh my God!" And he'd run out and go check. All right, because the case of Justin Ross Harris, he was actually on his computer making plans for a trip, even thinking of the kids. See, but that's not the trigger he needed. Right? He needed actually a phone call saying, hey, the kids didn't make it here, because his mind told him that he had dropped the kid off at school. Right? I'm not one of the people, I just don't, I understand exactly the dynamics that happened in that case. All right. So I don't know if that's probably about all I wanted to say about that. But I feel bad for the guy. He looks like he's really devastated, and you see there's pictures of him where he's just hanging out with the child and the children. Yeah. The allegation is that he was extraordinarily careless, Jackson said. See, and that's the thing too, is it's tough to even make that argument, because you have to say that he being extraordinarily careless. What was extraordinarily careless about it? See, that's what's tough, because he's just a human that any one of us can get distracted. And was he really just extraordinarily careless? Yeah, the kids died and he forgot that they were in the car. But I don't know. If kids don't turn up at school generally, Right, but it seems like daycares don't generally do that, Tina, for some reason. Almost all of these cases, the daycare doesn't call, doesn't check, anything. They should do a roll call or just whatever they do. I'm sure they don't do a roll call. Hey, is there a baby there? Okay, right here. You know, they don't probably do a roll call, but you go around and check something off, right? And you see a couple that aren't there, then you call, right? You see little babies laying in a crib, raising their hand when you call their name. I don't think that's happening. All right, I don't think that's happening. Yeah. So I'm glad that so many of you, the parents out there, haven't had this happen to them. Okay? But it really could have and could still happen to you. So do whatever you can to try to remember. The problem is all the things that they've come up with so far are things that you have to remember to do as well. Right. But see, that's something you have to remember to do, right? Even right there, Jay. It's got to be something that you can't... The remembering has nothing to do with it. It's maybe a weight sensor thing where you set the child on a car seat and it automatically does something. Something that you set up one time. Yeah, and it may even work for her, Jay, but I think you got to take remembering to do anything out of the equation. Yeah, something like that, you know. Vehicle does that and alerts you if someone is left in the vehicle. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to require people to do stuff, but when you have enough of these deaths, why not, right? I mean, I would say that car seats need to have something that you connect to something, like maybe the lighter area, charger area. You put it in that, and you just keep it in there, and that activates it, and it does. It has like an alarm that can penetrate outside the door. That's really loud. Of course, then there'll be lawsuits on how it damaged the kid's ears when it went off. Create an alarm when the car is off. There is a child in. I don't know what that means, Mama Bear. That didn't make any sense. Let's see. Should make the car alarm go off. Don't know what that means either. Yeah, the seat, yeah. Yeah, well, that might work if you look at that all the time. You might get kind of, like 2 Cents said, tape a picture of your kid saying, "Don't forget me," right on the steering wheel and leave it there. Well, the thing is after a while, you just, you see it so often. Yeah, I guess you could take a new picture all the time, right? But you'd have to still remember. Motion detector car horn. Yeah, like maybe motion in the back seat. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, like have a motion sensor just that points right at the back seat where your child is, right? And then if it moves, the horn goes off. I like that one. Well, what if it slept right through it, Gray? Well, that never happens like that. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. That's all I wanted to say on that one is let's try to be less harsh on these people It's already horrible, and yes, it was a horrible death for the children. But well, let me ask you this: what's worse? Okay, let me ask you if this is worse. If a parent leaves a child in a car to go grocery shopping on purpose, right? And they come back out and the child is, well, let's say that child dies. See, that parent is 1,000 times worse because they literally made the choice to leave the child in the car to go grocery shopping. They literally thought about it and decided, hey, this is a great idea, right? Yeah, it's totally about intent, the whole mens rea deal. That's all it is for me. I care a lot about what somebody's intent is, all right? And that's why I believe that even attempted murder should be the same as murder. Like first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder should have the exact same charge. You should even be able to get the death penalty for it. And, it would depend on the level of depravity of your planning. Okay? But I'm not a huge death penalty guy right now because there's been so many people exonerated off of death row that until you can, prove to me that there'll never be anybody convicted again who didn't do it, then forget it. But the thing is the mind of an attempted first-degree murder is exactly the same as somebody who killed. It just comes down to luck, right? Should it really just come down to luck? No. Well, not all the time, Marissa. You could have attempted murder where you took a shot and it actually missed the guy's head. Like he could be completely healed. Nothing wrong with you at all physically. Maybe you'd be mentally distraught about it, but yeah, that's what I think. All right, there you go. Okay, I thought we'd take a look at this right here. Somebody sent me this one. 3 Illinois women found shot dead in the same area in a 2-week period as police report finding similarities in their deaths. So could there be a serial killer? I think most of the time when you use the car as a babysitter, most of those times people see the car and break in. I don't think those end up in hot car deaths very often at all. Now, that's not why society is pushing for it. They just a lot of society is pushing for punishment because they're holier than thou. They always say, "Oh, I would never do that. How can you possibly forget your kid in the car?" That's the real reason people do that. Okay. Now the other ones, they're a whole new ball game. The ones that actually leave the kid in the car intentionally, but those aren't even anywhere near the accidental ones because they generally come back quicker, right? Because they know their kid is in the car. Yeah, so it's the ones that the accidental car deaths where you literally forget your kid that's even in the car for hours. All right, so anyways, I'm moving on to this one. So this is in Illinois again, believe it or not. East St. Louis, Illinois. The Illinois State Police has pointed to similarities in the recent homicide cases of 3 women in the Metro East. They were found shot to death in the past month. Lieutenant Calvin Brown, a spokesman for the Illinois State Police at a news conference on July 23rd afternoon, said that The women shared similar lifestyles, frequented the same places, and were killed in the same manner. Brown said Illinois State Police and the East St. Louis and Washington Park Police have established extra patrols in the areas. Illinois State Police investigators are looking into the possibility that the 3 deaths are connected, Lieutenant Brown told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. The police, however, refused to answer questions about the deaths being the work of a serial killer. At 4:40 a.m. on July 21st, police discovered the body of 38-year-old Amanda Ligari on the side of the road in overgrown vegetation at an intersection in East St. Louis. Brown said at the press conference. Ligari is the third woman. Ligari of Belleville is the third woman to be found dead in the Washington Park and East St. Louis areas over the last 2 weeks, he said. She was found shot in the neck. A mother of 5, Ligari had been living in East St. Louis for 10 years when she moved there from Michigan to care for her sick mother. This comes just weeks after 2 women were found shot dead in nearby Washington Park area. On July 9th, at approximately 5 a.m., the body of 49-year-old Sandra Reckman of Alhambra was found on the 1600 block of 56th Street on July 10th at 3:10 a.m. Less than 24 hours later, the body of 56-year-old Bridget Williams of Washington Park was discovered in the John Thornton Memorial Park. Authorities are questioning that everyone with information about the 3 fatal shootings should come ahead and call investigators at 618-346-3760 or Crime Stoppers at 866-371-8477. No, I'm not looking for a call there, Lori. All right. No thanks. We just talked about that on Facebook, actually, so I'm not sure why you're saying that. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Nikki New. Appreciate it.
Just because you're so handsome, Gray.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Got to do the Don Knotts sniff, everybody. Boom! Yeah. Oh, Gray. Huh. Well, let me try to figure out where these locations are. Hold on a second. On the side of the road and overgrown vegetation at an intersection. Okay, that one I don't know, but let's see. 49-year-old Sandra Reckman. All right, let's do it. Here we go. We're going to look this one up. What are you apologizing for? Hey, at least it was a compliment. Yeah, nothing, Guy and Jackie, but she wanted to call in about a different case, and I said I didn't want her to call in about a case because I was talking about other ones, and then she already knew that, so goes, oh, I'm going to call in, everybody, and the thing is I just don't want a call right now. Is that okay? Or all right. So when I say something, just let it be the way it is, all right? I know more than you do when I'm talking about what I'm talking about. All right? Thanks. All right, let's see. was found on the 1600 block of 66. So where the hell is it? This is East St. Louis, or East St. Louis, Illinois. Alright, so it's right over here. And then let's see. $1,600 block. I'm going to map these two and then try to find the other one. Okay, so it's that street. 1500, so it's right in this area right there. And that one is Sandra Reckman. And then what did it say specifically? Alhambra was found on the 1600 block of 56th Street. And then Bridget Williams was found at John Thornton Memorial Park. Ah, man, of course. Parks in East St. Louis. I wonder if it's this John Park, right? Jones Park. Oh, that's Jones Park. Frank Holton Park, Virginia Park, Lincoln Park, Malcolm, Emerson, Jones Water Park, East St. Louis Park. Huh. Well, now I can't find it. Anybody have the address of that park? It's called... wait, hold on. Maybe I got the wrong... Wait. 56-year-old Bridget Williams of Washington Park was discovered in John Thornton Memorial Park. I can't even see that one. That park doesn't even exist. Look at that. Oh, maybe it's that little thing that got stuck in there. Let's see. Yeah, no, I don't think that's over in Europe somewhere. Yeah, it's right there. I mean, it's literally... See, John Thornton Memorial Park. Anybody have an address? Can you guys look that up? Right there. See if you can find an address for that, because it's not showing up on the... anywhere.
With some ladies over here in the Metro East just yesterday, and they are just on high alert right now. As well, like you just said, there's no suspects in custody as of right now, as it deals with the 3 murders that happened over here in the Metro East, 2 in Washington Park, and then 1 over here in East St. Louis. Here's the latest one, East 2 in Washington Park, and then with the 3 murders that happened over here in the Metro East, 2 in Washington Park.
Washington Park. He's saying Washington Park. Okay, Washington Park. So, well, it was found in the John Thornton. No, it's different.
And then 1 over here in East St. Louis. Here's the latest one, though. Her name is Amanda Lagore. She's actually from Michigan and came down here to take care of her sick mother here. And
that's it? All right. Now, 2 of them were found in Washington Park. 1 of them was found in Thornton Memorial Park. I already know about the Washington Park one.
Now she's dead. Now this all happened just yesterday morning. She was located off the roadway near the intersection of Jefferson Avenue and Bell Avenue at about 4:45. She was shot in the neck. Now a friend of the woman says she's the mother of 5 children, 4 of whom are still back in Michigan. Now this comes after 2 other women were found dead within 24 hours of each other in Washington Park. 49-year-old Sandra Reckman was found on July 9th, dumped in overgrown grass, while the following day, 56-year-old Bridget Williams' body was found in the John Thornton Memorial Park. Both were known to hang out in that Washington Park area. Now, the only information missing right now in all of these cases is a suspect. There's no word on if anyone is possibly in custody as of right now.
She looks a lot like Megan Oxendine, doesn't she? Look at that. It's weird.
Right now, in all of these cases, is a suspect. There's no word on if anyone is possibly in custody as of right now. And additionally, some of you may be wondering if all these are connected. There's still no word of if they are connected at this point as well. So, of course, Fox will be keeping a close eye on both all these investigations. And, of course,
yeah, so I need Thornton Memorial Park. All right. John Thornton Memorial Park. Okay, but you just said that was Washington Park up above. Okay. Yeah, well, delusional lucidity above you said that was Washington Park. All right, let's put that one in there then. No, you but above you said the wrong thing. All right, so maybe that's what this park is right here. All right, let's see what we say. Parks in East St. Louis. No, it's not even the right. I wasn't even anywhere near the right spot right there. Hold on a second. 5115 Audubon Avenue. That's not even listed as a park right there in the city, so no wonder. Alright, so apparently that's the part. Let's see if there's any signs or anything. Jeez. Beautiful, huh? Wow, my stomach just went. Argh. I do see Memorial Park right there. See that? There's like a Memorial Park. So, yeah, let's see, maybe that's even better. Yeah, it's hard to make that out, but I bet you that says, I bet that's the right one. So there you go. All right, so this park here had, let me put the correct name in there. Bridget Williams. And let's see, when was that? Avenue about a friend and a woman, she's a mother. Was located off the roadway near the intersection of Jefferson Avenue and Bellevue Avenue at 4:45 a.m. Not having shot in the neck. A friend of the woman says she's the mother of 5 children. This comes after 2 other women were found within 24 hours of each other. Washington Park, Sandra Reckman, 49, and then also, okay, so Sandra Reckman and Bridget Williams. All right. And so they're really close to each other. Look at that. I mean, that's very close. You know, block and a half, 2 blocks. And then let's look up Washington Park. Oh man. And look at that, it's like a direction too, right? Well, that's Washington Park Boulevard, so where's Washington Park? Let's see. Let's try it different. And you don't need to type in the address. I think we'll see it right here. Unless it's not actually another one listed. Well. Shit. It gets pretty frustrating sometimes. So that park. So there must be another park like right here, because they said that Sandra Reckman was found on the 1600 block of this road right there. So is this a park like right in here, something like that? Wow. This looks just like that other case we were talking about. Remember that one that had the junk just looking like that, where that murder was? Where they found a body, it was kind of like back there, but not in this one. Yeah, so I guess you do. What is that what the address is of Washington Park? Right there? What's that? What is that, Deacon, that you typed in? What does it have to do with what we're talking about right here? That doesn't look like a park right there. Delusional lucidity. Need a different one. Okay, so it's just a village. It's like the name of, okay, let's see. Well, I have it over here. That's Washington Park. But that could be an area, right? And that makes more sense to this one, but she apparently was found there, and let's see if we can get the other one. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the address of the park. That's, you know. East Lafayette, St. Ottawa. Yeah, it's not a, god dang it. Yeah. Do you know how far away that shot when you put the address in there? It wasn't even close. Right, so it's like, well, there's a Washington Park that it just went to on a pin a second ago. But I think it's just right in this area right here. So, got Sandra Reckman. Okay, 4:40 a.m. on July 21st, police discovered a body of 38-year-old Amanda Lagari on the side of the road in overgrown vegetation at an intersection in East St. Louis. So they don't have, that's not really specific on that one. Just weeks after, 2 women were found shot dead in nearby Washington Park area. On July 9th at approximately 5 a.m., the body of 49-year-old Sandra Reckman of Alhambra was found on the 1600 block. On July 10th at 3:10, less than 24 hours later, the body of 56-year-old Bridget Williams of Washington Park was discovered. So yeah, it must be just an area. Yeah. So I'm going to just look up that individual and see what happens.
Fox News' Katie Corman joins us now from East St.
Oh,
Louis
there you
with
go.
what she's learned.
Let's see if that John Thornton Memorial Park and 1600 block. Okay, so I think we have these two here, right? Yeah, just like that. Boom, boom. So I think we have those two basically how they have it, a little slightly different. Oops, what's this other mark there?
About this latest victim, Katie.
Shirley and Sandy, police are not yet connecting these 3 murders, but it's hard not to notice the similarities in these cases. 3 women, each shot to death, dumped in a public place, and found in the early morning hours. 38-year-old Amanda Laguerre was found Sunday morning on the side of the road near the intersection of Jefferson and Bellevue in East St. Louis. The St. Clair
Okay, hold on. Let me get that.
and Bellevue in
That's the one I'm missing right there.
near the inter
Jefferson and Bellevue. Jesus. Okay, there's Jefferson Street. All right, let me see what they had on their picture there. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. Jefferson and Bellevue, they said. Oh, I had Bellevue and Bellevue. Jefferson and Bellevue Street. Jefferson. Ah, frustrating. I think on their map they have it like right over there. There's Bellevue, right? And then where's Jefferson? Bellevue Avenue. Okay, so it's Jefferson Avenue and Bellevue Avenue, not street. Let's see if that makes a difference. No, Bellevue. It's spelled totally different. Jesus. Bell. And that's like E. I was just spelling it like how I remember to spell Bellevue. There we go. I thought it was in that spot, too. That's crazy. Okay, so right there. All right. And that's where... Alright, so we get all this marked down and then we can keep following it. It's kind of, maybe it'll be like Lumberton. Yeah, I was just spelling Bellevue like we spell it over here. B-E-L-V-U-E. You gotta put an E after B-E-L-L. I don't need it. I don't need GPS coordinates, things like that. I got it. I got it figured out. So what do you got? Alright, so I'm gonna go right there. Man, delusional Lucidity, you've lived like in a million different places. Look at this, just it does remind me of Lumberton. You know, I gotta be honest with you. That street, very similar. Let's see. Thanks, Cairo Al-Qadir. Wow.
I was singled out today in a comment section for being a mod on your channel. Thanks for not acting childish like some people. This donation is in the name of that channel. Plus we wanna see those cat eyes spin, lol.
Oh wow, thanks. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, I know some of the moderators. Oh my God, you're a moderator on Gray's channel? Oh my God. We got to be able to put out pictures of the bridge guy hanging upside down and look at the pictures. And we've got to be able to draw these ludicrous images with cigarettes sticking out of their mouths. And it's just, oh, come on. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I gotta tell you, the whole Delphi case has just picked up just absolutely the most ludicrous things that I've ever seen in the last week. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. I don't have anything else to add to that. All right? I just... It's unbelievable. But look at this. Doesn't this look like Peachtree Street? I mean, just absolute trash buildings. And looks like that one caught on fire at one point. And she probably was found in this area over here, I would imagine. Because they were saying it was... let's go. Let's just watch the rest of that. Hey, thanks, Steve Snapper Jones.
but it's hard not to notice the similarities in these cases. Three women each shot to death, dumped in a public place, and found in the early morning hours. 38-year-old Amanda Laguerre was found Sunday morning on the side of the road near the intersection of Jefferson and Bellevue in East St. Louis.
Let's try to get that picture. See what they're looking at. They're probably looking more at the
Jefferson and Bellevue in East.
All right. I think it's that way right there. It's like, I think you're looking at a shot that, see that tree? I think that's it. Let me just make sure. Yeah, see that tree that's back there? You can't really see it that great when I go over it. And then let's see if we can see that almost dead tree there, and then a big clump. Yeah, see that? That's it. It's not a dead tree, but you can see the branches. And then right there. I'm pretty sure that's it. I don't see those houses though. I don't know. Yeah, it looks just like that though, other than, you know, again, this is just a horrible area here. I don't know if these trees are way up. I don't know. But this is street view from 6 years ago. And they may have come in and like taken a lot of stuff down. Yeah. No, aren't you guys getting the Lumberton vibe of this? It's like almost identical. My God. I mean, that one girl even looks like Megan Oxendine. To me, it's wild. Look at this.
Early morning hours. 38-year-old Amanda
Right
Laguerre
there.
was found Sunday
Crazy.
morning on the side of the road near the intersection of Jefferson and Bellevue in East St. Louis. The St. Clair County coroner says she was shot once in the neck. I spoke with a friend of Laguerre's who tells me Laguerre moved to the Metro East from Michigan about 10 years ago.
Let's see if we can
to
find
care
that
for her
stop
sick mother.
sign. I'm sure it's not
Laguerre
there
was the mother
anymore.
of 5 children, 4 of which still live in Michigan with relatives. Her death comes after 2 other women were murdered in Washington Park in separate shootings within 24 hours of each other less than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's definitely time to put a stop.
I didn't get distracted. I was just looking at,
49-year-old
looks
Sandra
really,
Reckman
a
of Alhambra was
lot of
found
drugs.
in an overgrown area on 56th
I was looking
Street
at
on the
that.
morning of July 9th. Less than 5 blocks
But yeah,
away,
go make your own show
56-year-old
and
Bridget
do whatever the hell you
Williams
want
of
on there.
Washington Park was
Science
found
Z,
at John
you're always
Thornton
right on
Memorial
top
Park
of it.
in the early morning hours of July 10th.
Hey, wait,
Investigators say Williams
that was that sign we were
July
just looking
10th.
at. Let's look at that again.
Found at John Thornton Memorial
see, John
Park
Jap
in the early
Thornton, that's what
morning
it said.
hours of July 10th. Investigators say Williams and Reckman were both known to hang out in the Washington Park area. Other women are concerned over the seemingly targeted attacks.
I'm concerned
Thanks,
about
delusional
being around
lucidity.
her, period, like late night, because that's the only time it's been going around her late night.
We just gotta be safe and watch our surroundings and be careful about picking our friends and who we hang
Greyhound
around.
serial
Angela
killers.
Taylor says
Will
she
you
knew 2
please
of the
stay
victims.
SSSSOMMMEEAAANNN.
See, that's how you get it to draw out like that. Yeah, no problem, Science Z. I just was reading all your other comments that were so negative today on all the different posts, so, you know, you're not my favorite human at this point.
About being around her, period, like late night, because that's the only time it's been going around her late night.
We just gotta be safe and watch our surroundings and be careful about picking our friends and who we hang around.
Angela Taylor says she knew 2 of the victims.
I did feel sad about it. You know, I cried a little bit, but I mean, I can't do nothing about it. I just hate it happened to him, period.
So Illinois State Police are working with East St. Louis Police and Washington Park Police. But again, officials not yet saying whether any 3 of these murders are connected or if it's possible that there are other victims. Live in East St. Louis, Katie Corman, Fox 2 News.
A shocking discovery inside the freezer of an apartment in South St. Louis. The body of an infant was found by a man who was living there. He says the box was in his family freezer for decades. Fox News' Jeff Burns.
What the hell? Man, I didn't mean to stumble upon that one. Are you kidding me?
All is live outside the building.
A baby in a freezer for decades? My God. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go down that route. Let's just listen to it.
Discovery inside the freezer of an apartment in South St. Louis. The body of an infant was found by a man who was living there. He says the box was in his family freezer for decades. Fox News' Jeff Bernthal is live outside the building where that discovery was made. Jeff.
Yeah, so sad, John. We're on the 6,000 block of Magnolia. The man who was here was caring for his ailing mother inside an apartment here. Tonight, he says he is an emotional wreck with so many questions running through his mind. Adam Smith had been living in this apartment taking care of his mother, who passed away from cancer just days ago. He showed us a photograph of a wrapped box that was in his freezer. He said his mother kept it inside their freezer for decades. That was in his freezer. He said his mother kept it inside there. Showed us a photograph of a
right there, that freaking Jesus.
wrapped box that was in his freezer. He said his mother kept it inside their freezer for decades and told him to stay away from it. He opened it after she passed away.
There was a pink blanket, baby blanket, and when I reached down and touched it, and I could feel a foot, and I could see the baby's head with hair. Hair was still attached to it, smooth.
Police responded to the building early Sunday morning. They called the death suspicious. Smith told them, as strange as it sounds, he never looked inside that wrapped box, thinking it was a frozen wedding cake. He says it was a shock to him when he discovered the baby.
Who absolutely keeps their own child in a box for this long and never talk about it and never... I just have so many thoughts, and it's just insane.
He's distraught thinking about the possibility that that child may have been his sister and what his mother may have done.
I have to wait for the autopsy to see if that baby ever took a breath. And I cannot help it to think she might have done something to it. I just can't help it.
He wonders if he'll ever know the truth now that his mother...
Yeah, I saw that, Science Z. You defended me on one, and then all of a sudden 3 more in a row, you're like, oh, you're disappointed in me, how I said this and that, and I got kind of old myself. So yeah, if you want to get the hell out of here, go ahead. I don't give a shit. Okay.
There is gone.
It's tragic. I mean, this gentleman just recently lost his mother, and to add that to it, I mean, my heart goes out to him. I just hope he gets some answers.
I wanted some kind of closure, and I feel like I may never get any closure because my mom's gone.
Smith says as a child,
can't help it.
He wonders if he'll ever know the truth now that his mother is gone.
It's tragic. I mean, this gentleman just recently lost his mother, and to add that to it, I mean, my heart goes out to him. I just hope he gets some answers.
I wanted some kind of closure, and I feel like I may never get any closure because my mom's gone.
Smith says as a child he remembers his mother once speaking about losing a child at birth, and says only recently a relative told him that his mother once gave birth to twins, giving one up for adoption and losing one at birth. Reporting live from South St. Louis, Jeff Bernthal, Fox 2 News.
The Missouri State Auditor shines a light on spending by Missouri Governor Mike Parson when he was the state's lieutenant governor.
Man, I mean, imagine that. You just go into your freezer. I mean, I go in there and I'll find like a salmon or something I wrapped up there a few years back, and it just keeps getting buried with the fresher meat. But, to go back in there and open it up and go, hey, I wonder what, and see it to be a baby. My God. That'd be pretty freaky. I must be, I gotta be honest. A chicken pot pie box? I didn't see a chicken pot pie box. It was pretty big. Yeah, let me see what Mom left me. Maybe it's like a cake I could eat to celebrate. Oh my God. Yeah, Yeah, it's not really funny, but you know what? The thing is all you can do is make a joke about it because it's so ludicrous and ridiculous that it's like, you know, what else do you do at this point? She told him it was the top of her wedding cake. Is that a real part of the story or not? It sounded like she told him never to look into it, but he did after she died. Yeah, it was there was a big box behind it. I don't think you have the right box. There was a big white wrap back in there. It was crazy. Well, I just heard him say that he didn't know what it was because his mom told him never to look into it. Hello, sassy investigator. Well, we don't know what year the baby would be born. It just was in there for decades. Obviously, they've replaced the refrigerator at some point. It doesn't look like a 40-year-old freezer. But, you know, you just get a freezer and then you immediately start changing things over. I mean, think how weird it is that the mom was switching over the box all those years. I mean, in her head, she must realize, wow, there's a baby in this box. You know what's weird about this picture? This is just recently, but doesn't this look like a case that we're talking about from the 80s? Just looking at the picture. You get what I'm saying here? Like you look at this picture and you don't go, oh, wow, this is 3 days ago or 4 days ago. You look at it and you go, oh, man, this is what year? 1987? Something like that. So this is Sandra Reckman here. Amanda Ligari right there, and they said they have similar backgrounds, things like that. Hold on a second. Yeah. All right. Yeah, totally. Looks retro. They all died of gunshot wounds, had frequented, my God, how come I couldn't get that word out? The same locations and were discovered dead early in the morning. So what does that mean? The same locations. You know, if you're in this area, it seems like you're over here to get drugs, right? Would you think that that's just an overgeneralization? I think you're right here to get drugs, right? But they all frequented the same areas. So that's not really, absolutely close to this area, but let's see what's going on here. So one of them was found right in this area. I wouldn't bet against the body being found back in there. Yep, and there it is. Near this park. And, you know, parks are a lot of times a place where people might sell drugs. I don't know if they did drugs or what, but I'm trying to figure out what they're saying when they say they frequented the same areas, had similar lifestyles, right? And usually when you say that, you're kind of implying that they're in sort of a, you know, Lumberton-ish, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, but it's pretty bizarre. Now all that has to happen is one of the people being interviewed afterwards will turn up missing too. So you guys have any thoughts on this one? What do you guys think? I guess we'll just keep following it and see what goes on, what's happening here. I doubt there's any surveillance cameras on those streets, though. What are you thinking, Sasmir? You said, what I'm thinking, Gray. I don't know if that's a question. Yeah, okay. Or you know, there could be a serial killer, you know. I think the Lumberton one, I mean, I don't know, you know, two of them knew each other, I guess, a little bit, but is that a serial killer there? And what's the point here, too? Three completely different women, they might not have known each other. Yeah, I think there's a lot of those out there, Barney Fife. A lot of the victims, like we've said a million times, are people that do drugs, maybe prostitution, because nobody looks for them. You think so, Kit Kat? All right. Very well could be. Yeah, the low-hanging fruit. It's just so easy for them. Truckers and prostitutes. It's like, what a perfect job for serial killers and prostitutes, because you're traveling, and then also nobody cares about the, or they care, but they just don't put a lot of effort into the prostitutes. They don't put the same resources into who they consider to be innocent victims. Yeah, weren't they all kind of in their 50s? Well, no, one was 38 years old. That's right. 38-year-old Amanda Ligari. She's 38, and then a 49-year-old and a 53-year-old. So the 49-year-old and 53-year-old were first. Then 38-year-old was Amanda Ligari. And pretty close proximity, right? I think they've got to be related. I think these two here for sure. Sounds like they think this one is related based on manner of death. You know, the thing is about an area like this, I would think if you just walk back there, you're likely to come across a body. I mean, it's just a absolute hellhole is what that is right there. Yeah, just in that little wooded area back there. Man. One of these days, I swear to God, on this show, we're going to be going on Street View. I'm going to zoom in on the bushes and the hand will be sitting there or something. Won't that be about the weirdest thing you've ever seen at that point? Yeah, I just want to look around because it's so crazy here. I mean, I know this is 6 years ago. We don't have J-Vision going, but definitely need to. I just want to look around because it's just. I wonder what it looks like today. I really doubt. Look at this, another burnout house right up the street there. And look, like, then you get people like this that really try to make their house look pretty good and everything. I mean, how would you like to live there? Just knowing that, oh, next door you got to burn out. The house value is already so low, but then you have people burning their homes. I'm just trying to get a feel for the area here, like this. Oh, there's a little side street that Google Earth went down for absolutely no reason. But thank you. Wow. That's some wild shit right there. Yeah, so. Time to switch cases now. I think I have another one. Oh yeah. This was a pretty cool story from earlier today. I've seen it on the DNA Dope Project, the Bell in the Well, but then Cairo was like, hey, Gray, they finally identified. I knew it was on the list of ones that they're already working on, but they identified this woman. What's weird is when you look at this picture right here, how old do you think she is in this picture right there? Give me an age. What do you think? And if you know, don't answer it. I want people that just taking a glance. How old is she in that picture? Yeah. Now, that's just her high school picture, like out of the yearbook. All right. All right. So that she was. Hell, I mean, what year was she? That's her 1934 yearbook, and then in 1981, they found her body in a kind of like a well, and I guess there had been rumors about it for a long time. However, it was confirmed today in the press conference that her body, there was a rope around her neck, and then it was weighted down with a cement block and then thrown into this well. And it was incredible, the work that Colleen Fitzpatrick, I emailed her and said, hey, I even asked her if she had a good link. I went and found it myself, but then she emailed me later with the same link that I had found. And she really, I guess it was really difficult because a lot of the people married each other, like relatives and so forth in a small community. And I guess it led to having a whole bunch of different combinations of parents and siblings, it was crazy. And it took them 2 years to do this research, and they actually came up with the answer. They got it. Unbelievable. They eventually found one of her daughters, because she had some daughters, It's always weird to me that it takes so long. I mean, at some point, didn't anybody ask any of the relatives a question like, hey, is there anybody that you know that's missing in your family that nobody has a clue where they went? And then somebody might say, oh, yeah, well, I've got this cousin. And it might speed it up a little bit and give you some hints to quickly. But I remember asking about that, and it was like they don't want to talk to family at all. You know, I understand why, because it feels a lot better to solve it just on your own. And but it's weird. I mean, she just disappeared, obviously, in 1981. And probably they think any of the main players that were involved with her death are not still alive. That's what they were saying at the end of the press conference. And I'll load up some of the press conference just so you can see what that was like. Wait, I bet my audio is really loud right now. Maybe not. Okay. See, there's Colleen right there, everybody. She's awesome.
In the confines of a to announce the identity of the bell in the well.
It's really quiet. Maybe I can turn it up even more.
It's a very remote area that some girls were playing, and they came upon an old cistern, lifted the top off of it, and found something that they could not identify. But they went back to their dad, and the father decides that maybe we need to get the sheriff's office involved, and that's the beginning of the story. Right Ridge is actually what that's called. It was a party place where the motorcycle gang at that point would go and drink beer and have parties and such like that. And we always believed that there was a connection to the motorcycle gang. But I think we've kind of dispelled that at this point. She was taken to Franklin County, and an autopsy was performed there. A cause of manner and mode of death were established, and she was sent back to Lawrence County. I'm going to let Dr. Murray expand on that a little bit more when she does her part. She can tell you exactly what happened with the autopsy and how it was done and what they found. This is a copy of the original death certificate.
With her head, so she was so decomposed that the hair at the time.
All right, so this is interesting here. Here we go. Claudia Neubauer.
About the autopsy. Bill has given us a nice overview, and so I'm going to fill in some of the details. I happen to know Dr. Paul Jolly I first started with Hamilton County Coroner's Office as an intern in the mid-'80s, and he was still there, but I wasn't directly involved in this case at the time. And the autopsy report noted that she was a Caucasian
What
female.
the heck?
She was an adult. And there was a lot of soft tissue present, but it wasn't suitable for any type of fingerprinting, so we had no fingerprints for her. There wasn't any kind of hair associated with her head, so she was so decomposed that the hair mass had fallen off and was not recovered from the cistern. So it's not known what color her hair was, nor were her eyes suitable for determining their color as well. She was measured at 63 inches, 5'3" tall, and at that time the autopsy report suggested she was around 100 pounds. They estimated that she was in that cistern for no more than 2 years.
I've already got somebody that's going out to Lumberton to shoot video, so you don't have to worry about it.
So the probable cause, or the probable time since death was somewhere in the neighborhood of 1979 to 1981. The cause of death was manual strangulation, and the manner of death was homicide. So they didn't note any other medical findings, nothing in the autopsy to suggest anything that might help provide an identification for her. They did not perform a dental chart at that time, but Dr. Jolly's father happened to be a dentist, and as the chief deputy coroner, Dr. Jolly was very interested in dentition, so he meticulously assigned a lot of information in the autopsy report about her teeth. And she did have clothing on. She was fully dressed other than shoes. She had on a thin sweater covered by a blouse that was covered by a red cable knit sweater, a very heavyweight sweater. She had on gray slacks, and she had on 2 pairs of socks, a thin pair of socks with an overcovering of a red pair of thick socks. And around her wrist, underneath the clothing, were rubber bands, 2 on one forearm and 1 on the other. So we don't know if anybody who might know her might know, that maybe this was a habit of hers or something like that. Something that Bill Nenny can address further was there was a locker key from a bus station in Huntington, West Virginia, that was in her pants pocket. Now that was not turned over at autopsy. It had already been taken from her when she was autopsied in Hamilton County in Cincinnati. So then Bill talked about this being his first investigation. She was the first case I ever entered personally into the NamUs system. In March of 2009, I was hired as a forensic consultant on the Forensic Sciences Services team for NamUs. And what I was doing was going around to local coroner's offices in Ohio and asking them if they had any unidentifieds that we could enter into the brand new system. NamUs was just founded in 2009. It stands for the National Missing and Unidentified Person System. And I went to Hamilton County and I pulled their records, and not only did they have records from in-county cases that were unidentified, they had numerous records from cases outside of Hamilton County, including this from Lawrence County. And she was physically the first case I personally entered into the system. And then I contacted Bill, and he made the plans for the exhumation, because DNA testing, did not come about until the mid-'80s, and I can say from my 30-plus years in forensic science that it wasn't commonplace in most offices until the early 90s to mid-90s. So I performed an anthropology exam, came over here to the facility that Bill mentioned in Kentucky, and in June of 2011, we did an exam on her. I noted that there was some arthritic changes in her spine. The autopsy report did not give an age other than adult, but it wasn't enough arthritis to suggest an older age. So I put an age range in there of about 30 to 60 years of age. And between Bill and I, we not only thought, but it appeared she had weighed more than 100 pounds that was noted in the original autopsy. So then we took a bone sample, submitted it to the NamUs testing lab, which is at the University of North Texas. And then Bill did her dental charts and up x-rays with the local dentist around here. I was able to upload those to the NamUs system. And between Bill and I, 243 exclusions were made between 2009 and the present. So we knew a lot of people that were not this Belle in the Well, but we still couldn't figure out who she was. Bill had forensic art done. The skull had been retained, as you heard. This was one done by someone at the Franklin County Coroner's Office, Jack Sudamak, in 2012. This one looks a little more rough, but it was computerized. It was based on autopsy photos that I provided artist Amy Stump. And she works with Project Eden, which is an acronym for Everybody Deserves a Name. And so her actual autopsy photo is the basis for this computerized reconstruction. And I believe—
See, it's interesting how they always do all this.
Similar as
the evolution of the—
And then in 2018, Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation artist did another clay reconstruction.
I think this one's closest,
But
right?
we will never know that she looked like any of these people, because the most recent photo so far we've been able to find is her high school yearbook photo from 1934. Okay, so as Bill mentioned, I was at the American Academy of Forensic Sciences meeting and met Colleen Fitzpatrick. She was giving an evening presentation, and before she was even off the podium, I had written her an email on my phone and suggested that we meet the next day. And one of the lines I remember us talking about is she said, I have the methodology, but I don't have the cases. Well, at that time, I was case manager for about 30 unidentified cases in Ohio, and I said, I have the cases, and we have been looking for you and your methodology. Since at that point, Ohio has become her proving ground, because she has resolved, I believe, 6 or 7 cases in Ohio at this time. Five, sorry. I'm being corrected here. Belle was the first case that we selected because of Bill's interest in genealogy and how we had been looking for someone that could do this. But Belle was not the first case solved by the DNA Dope Project. The first one you may have heard of was in April of 2018, the infamous Buckskin girl, as Marcia King, after 37 years. So now I'll turn this over to the DNA Dope Project, and they'll be able to discuss the actual—
And Colleen Fitzpatrick. I always like listening to her, even if I don't understand a damn thing she says. It's like she's just so, I mean, her and CeCe Moore, they're just so far above.
We are very honored to be here today. I am Colleen Fitzpatrick, one of the co-executive directors of the DNA Dope Project. I'd like to say that, many of the cases you see in the news recently using forensic genealogy, not all of them, but many of them are on the easy side. And I want to say this is a wonderful example of a very difficult case. And it highlights the use of a volunteer team, because we, as volunteers, we had all the time in the world to devote to this project, and that's exactly what we did. It was a very challenging case for a couple of reasons. First of all, when the body was found, it had been in the well for at least a year, maybe 2 years. So as a result, the DNA was degraded, it was very low quantity, and it was contaminated with bacteria. This was in the very early days of the DNA Dope Project, where we had to face this new world of contaminated and compromised DNA. And we did the best we could, and obviously we did quite well. Some of the cases you hear about, especially suspect cases, use fresh DNA, lots of fresh DNA, but this was different. There was another challenge too, and that was the genealogy. It became clear to us in the early stages that Belle came from a very complicated community where families married more than once over the generations. So the genealogy was complex. And I can explain it like this. If I'm doing genealogy and I come up with a full sibling, there's only one way I can be related to that sibling. We have the same parents. If I come up with a first cousin, there's 2 ways that we can be related, either through my mom or my dad. If we're second cousins, there's 4 ways. If we're third cousins, there's 8 ways. So that's a very simple case, but if you live somewhere where the families are more intermarried than that, there's more than 8. If I happen to be related to a cousin maybe 2 or 3 different ways, there could be, who knows, 50 ways we could be related. So you can see that it's very complex when you get to a society or community that, has this long history of marrying into each other for a while. There are many places in the world, in the United States, where this is true. And to complicate things, we have a tool we use called Are Your Parents Related?, which indicates how closely someone's parents might be related, exactly what it sounds like. In this case, when we applied this tool, it turned out Belle's parents were not related to each other, which was kind of surprising. So that meant one of the parents was from somewhere else, maybe a foreign country we didn't know. But as a result, that parent was not represented in the data we had, and we only saw relationships and DNA cousins, so to speak, for one side of the family. The other side was not represented. So, and finally, back up. Oh yeah. And finally, one of the problems was, as we started out, as I said, when you have third cousins, straightforward 8 ways, but in a tangled family, you may have as many as 50 ways. We only had third cousins to work with for the majority of the time we were working. So, we were faced with a very complicated genealogy to work out. The timeline is this. We first started talking about Belle in June of 2017. In August, we were able to get a tooth to go to Bodie Stillmark to
just like Sky Shoots
and give us DNA to work with. In October, we got the DNA to our sequencing lab to produce the genealogy data, or to produce the DNA we needed to do the genealogy. And then on Thanksgiving Day, 2017, we uploaded that data to GEDmatch, the website, the independent website we had to use to do the analysis. As I said, it was apparent to us that this was not going to be an easy solve at all. In March of 2018, we decided to try another similar analysis to see if we could come up with anything different. This had worked on some other cases, but in this case, we came up with the same thing. And even combining those 2 data sets, it didn't really help. So that's where we were until about February of this year. And I'm going to turn the podium over to Anthony Redgrave, our team captain on this project, and he will explain in a little bit more detail the genealogy and how we were able to finally untangle it and identify.
Yeah, so I think like Colleen has a bunch of these people that she's trained, and they do a lot of the, the work now, but she kind of runs the whole show. So you got this guy coming up here, and he tries to explain it. I don't know if it's that great, but
Belle and Louise Flesher-Peterson.
Were those clapping?
Thank you for having me here today.
And he will explain in a little bit more detail.
I can't tell if there's like people trying to start a clap, but
the genealogy and how we were able to finally untangle it and identify Belle as Louise Flesher-Peterson.
No, she doesn't work for Parabon. She works for DNA Doe Project. CeCe Moore works for Parabon Nanolabs. This is Colleen Fitzpatrick.
Hello, and thank you for having me here today.
If I could pronounce your name, I would, but thanks.
Realized that many of Louise's genetic cousins share more than one set of common ancestors. This is something that's called endogamy. Endogamy is the custom of marrying only within the limits of a local community, clan, or tribe. This can happen in religious communities, geographically isolated groups, and indigenous peoples. It's more common than you might expect. So as you can see here, match 4 and match 5 are both third cousins and second cousins months removed with each other. That is because they share 2 different sets of common ancestors.
This sounds like it was a nightmare to figure this one out.
When a person shares more than a single set of common ancestors, the DNA they share with each other falls within a... When a person shares a single set of common ancestors, the DNA they share with each other falls within a predictable range that allows us to make a guess of how they may be related to each other before we ever even build out their trees. When 2 people share more than one set of common ancestors, the amount of DNA they share is less predictable, more than if they shared only one common ancestor couple, making them sometimes appear more closely related than they probably actually are. This, paired with the degraded state of Louise's DNA, made it so that the first year of our research wasn't very clear. We weren't sure of the accuracy of exactly what we were looking at due to the unpredictable nature of the endogamy problem and the degradation of her DNA. In March of 2018 was the first time we spotted Louise Peterson in our trees and found that she would fit right where we would expect to find a person who matched the Bell in the Wells autosomal profile. We moved on from her fairly quickly because she was much older than the predicted age range we were given to work with, and we had nothing to support her as a candidate on the paternal side. We continued to look for other places in our trees where someone might have been a better fit. Around the time when people who had received a Christmas gift of an ancestry kit might be receiving their results, a new DNA match appeared on GEDmatch who was not related to the other cousin matches. We knew this person must be from the unrepresented parent side. However, we didn't have any matches that we could use to triangulate a common ancestor with to know where to look. So we had to estimate how many generations back their common ancestor might be, and then work all of the descendancies from each of those ancestors at that level until we found something familiar. This DNA match had a 3rd great-grandfather, Gustav Peterson, who moved with his family from Germany to Canada. Gustav's son, Charles, the DNA match's 2nd great-granduncle, moved from Canada to the U.S. and married Ora Mines, the mother of Louise Peterson. We knew at this moment that when we saw this marriage record come up, that this was...
Wow, it's so loud. Thanks, Nana.
The connection we were waiting for. We examined the possibility that Louise may have been the mother of the Bell in the Well because her age range was outside of what was predicted, but upon reviewing the DNA matches for any signs of a genetic connection to Louise's husband, we determined that Louise herself was the Bell in the Well and not one of her children. Ultimately, Louise escaped the endogamy common to her genetic cousins, and several of her top matches do fall within the predicted ranges of shared DNA as compared to their actual cousin relationships. Match 1, the only cousin that we have on the paternal side, has no double cousin relationships and is a first cousin 3 times removed to Louise. Matches 2 and 3 are both 3rd cousins once removed. Match 2 is unique and integral to our genealogical analysis because, in addition to the amount of shared autosomal DNA, this match also shares a significant segment on our X chromosome. X DNA can only be inherited through very specific chains from an ancestor. Either it comes from a direct maternal ancestor or through an alternating mother-father chain. In other words, a father can't pass an X chromosome to a son. So that helps us narrow down the focus of what lines of descendancy to look at, because there's only certain ways it can be inherited, so if there's a father-to-father chain, we know that's not the place to look. Since Louise and Match 2 both descend from their ancestors, Edward Grass and Michael Parsons, in a way that would allow them both to share a portion of their X chromosome with each other. That gave us extra assurance that we made a positive identification. While we found dozens and dozens of ancestors between Louise's DNA matches, only a handful of those common ancestors were in Louise's direct ancestry. The majority of those common ancestors lived their lives very near to where Louise's remains were discovered. Their birth and death locations are depicted as green tree icons on this map. Before we ever had Louise Peterson as a person of interest, we could already tell that the bell in the well was found not far from the home of her ancestors. In fact, the cistern where Louise's remains were found, which is marked here, is only about an hour away from where she lived as a 5-year-old child with her mother and grandparents in West Virginia. And at this point, I'll hand it over to Dr. Margaret Press, who will do the statistics on our case.
Da 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 da.
For entrusting your case with us. We're very honored to be here, honored to have worked on it.
Yeah, I don't mind seeing crime scene photos ever. I like to see what happened. It's not fun, you know, but it's like, it's interesting.
It's taken us the longest of any of the ones we've solved. We've now solved 12, by the way, since Colleen and I started in February.
So that's pretty cool. February 2017, they've solved 12, absolutely, and they do the hardest of the, you know, the hardest ones, bones, basically.
2017. In Belle's case, when we were all done, there were about 43,000 names in the combined tree that included Belle and all of her matches. So they weren't all of her family tree. The number of DNA cousins that we actually ended up researching thoroughly was about 180, a little over 180. These are people that showed up on her GEDmatch list that we had to then figure out who they were and what their family tree looked like. Since most people on GEDmatch don't actually put their trees there. So that's where we have to become little detectives and figure out who they are online. Overall, we had probably about 30 volunteers over the 14 months. Half of our group spent time at one point or another on this case. And they put in
no message, upside down face.
Thanks, Kit Kat. And everybody, please go out and enjoy a Kit Kat bar this evening. And no, I don't get paid.
It's very hard to estimate, probably over 10,000 hours. So now I'm catching up here. And overall, by the time we were done with the second round of sequencing, we had put in about $3,400 in just the lab fees and the extraction from the tooth. This is not like a $79 ancestry test that you can take. So from the beginning of when we first got that tooth sent off to, when we first uploaded the case to GEDmatch in November, it took us a little over 14 months to solve the case. So it was a couple of other numbers I want to mention. This was, as we were saying earlier, our 5th solved case in Ohio alone. This is more than any other state in the country. As I said, we've solved 12 to date, but Ohio seems to be our lucky state. So a couple of other numbers I want to mention. In May, GEDmatch, which is the database that we depend on for all of our work, we also now use family tree DNA to a certain extent. In May, they changed their terms of service and decided to have the 1 million users in the database automatically opted out from law enforcement research unless they specifically log back into their accounts and changed their account to opt in. To date, about 100,000 people have done that. That's about a tenth of the database. But that meant that on May 18th, Bell in the Well, who the previous day had 35,000 matches, went to 0 matches. Luckily, we had solved her by this time. If we had not, we would not be able to today, because all of our top matches have not yet opted in. Mostly people don't know that they need to do this. They never log back onto their account again. But hopefully word will spread and more people who have done testing will decide to upload to GEDmatch and opt in so that more of our cases can be solved in the future.
Oh,
sorry. I need to go back to this all-important screen here. We have so many people we want to thank.
That wasn't me. A video played.
Cases, support and help of both Bill Nenny and Beth Murray.
What's going on, suckers? Yeah!
Of course, Bodie Selmark did the extraction from the tooth initially. Then Dr. Whiting Tang from AMD Research did the whole genome sequencing.
Listen, doesn't your brain hurt too? Like my brain, I don't even know if there's a way to describe that and have it actually be like, wow, you know? Especially when the other guy was talking about third cousin removed, all that kind of stuff. It's, man. My brain literally is in pain.
For us, creating the data file that we needed. Justin Lowe of Full Genomes Corporation contracted with Dr. Gregory Magoon of Airdyne Research. He created the GEDmatch compatible file for us, which is a bunch of work. GEDmatch itself, founded by John Olson and Curtis Rogers, without which we would not be solving any DOs at all. And of course, all of our dedicated volunteers who put in so many hours. Also, Bell's matches, some of them were very cooperative. The distant matches that we contacted, because we were stumped trying to figure out their trees, really wanted to help us. It was heartwarming to see how many took her on as their own relative, so to speak. And then, of course, our generous donors. We have so many people who are chipping in and making cases like this workable, who help support us financially. And with that,
Moss.
I think I'm turning it back over to Ben. Thank you all very much.
Okay, so in a nutshell, they solved a decades-old case using genealogy research in a very complicated situation that took 2 years. Look how quickly I was able to do it. Boom! All right. Yeah, it's kind of a small community. Yeah, it's not really incestual stuff, but it's people that are related, you know, like third cousins. That's pretty far away, but you still don't have. What's odd about it is you don't have this huge gene pool, but it makes it really complicated. I guess apparently she came from. There was one. We'll see. What was the moment in there that was a little bit of a. Let's see at the end. Where is that guy? He gets up there. Yeah, when they're all up there. Let's see. Hold on. Well, where was it when the police chief's up there with... Oh, yeah, that's right. There's two halves of this damn thing. So I just forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, so when he's up there and they're talking, he said that you couldn't You know, even though they were sure in February that they were sure it wouldn't hold up in court, so they had to go out and you could see they were looking at each other like, really? What are you talking about? I'll just play this part. Opt in, everybody.
Unfortunately, of the million people that were already in the database when we worked on Bell, most of those people never log in again, so they don't know.
Hey Ziggy, are you stoned or on drugs or something? It's like you never have anything serious to say. It gets kind of boring after a while. And it's not really that interesting either.
You don't see much downside to that risk.
I do see what you say. I read it. When I'm not doing anything else, I see it. It's ludicrous. Who's she? Little Kelly, I don't know what that means.
The main upside is if something happens to a family member and you're all loaded up, you're going to find out something soon. Right. Most likely. It's really going to help. And in the case of...
I don't know what that means, Ziggy. Because I'm looking at my screen, looking for the park.
Colleen and Margaret resolved that case in 2 hours after we couldn't do it for 37 years.
I already saw where the park was prior to that.
The family, her father, had done all the genealogy and was uploading. So that is crucial in resolving.
Not the father, so she had a cousin, a daughter and a cousin, or the cousin of the father. Yeah.
Hey, ZVS Smith. Whoa! That's loud. I know, isn't that crazy? Thanks, Cairo. Yeah, she said that there was like 35, I think they had 50,000 people in GEDmatch, and then all of a sudden they had 0 after that.
She said 35,000 results in overnight GEDmatch changed and there was nothing. Thank God they already had the info.
Yeah, it's part of that. It's the ticker symbol thing. When a new story shows up, that's what comes up. Well, that's why we're trying to get everybody to opt back in. Imagine Castles. If you do the DNA 23andMe, Ancestry, you can send it in. You upload it to the raw data to GEDmatch, and then you're another person that's in there. Hey, thanks, Rhonda. Cool. Come on, now I'm ready for one of Ziggy's jokes again. Where are they? Come on, Ziggy. You know, what do you feed a pet rock, for example?
The other side because there weren't enough matches. Where was that other side from?
Hey, I turned that off. Why is it still going? Oh, man.
So her father's DNA was from.
Oh, I know what it was. That's a recording of that when I was recording the show that came on there.
Germany.
Yeah, we had some distant matches from Germany, very distant. So there was some kind of, thought that that's where he was from.
But the rest of the DNA showed up in this
We
area.
didn't know if it was the mother's side or the father's side that we wanted catching. But that emphasizes the fact that the database is a heavily Caucasian European.
No, you said, what do you feed a pet rock? I heard it. I said moss, okay? You feed it moss.
Those whose parents were from South America and the UK. And, yeah, South American.
Right.
So, don't rule it out.
See, like I said, here's the thing about, well, I'm probably really loud right now because I have everything boosted up so you guys can hear it. But the GED match, they even praised the two guys. I think they're trying to get him, buttering him up to get it switched back over again. I don't know, but they had terms of service that you could only use it for rapes and murders. And then they allowed someone to use it for a violent assault, and there was a conviction. And people said, well, gosh, I mean, some jackass sitting at home twiddling their thumbs. Hey, it's Lanky Tour. Look at that drunk
Smash that like button. Gray Hughes is the best heart.
Yeah, so they, you probably have some jackass sitting around like they do in the golf tournaments, where they see a ball slightly wiggle and they go, oh my God, they call up really quick. So somebody noticed that, oh my God, they actually cared enough. Wait a minute, a violent assault? Wait a minute, your terms of service don't say that. Oh! So then Jedmatch, using their infinite wisdom, said, you know what we'll do? We'll actually just opt everybody out, and everybody new opting in has to opt in too. So you have to, and then everybody else has to go in and actually opt back in again. And that's just not going to happen. People don't do that. It's a joke, all right? What they did was a travesty. And there's going to be a lot of murderers and rapists walking around out there because Jedmatch thought they would do a little CYA on something they really didn't need to. All they really could have said was, you know what? We did review it. It looks like that wasn't in our terms of service. What we'll do now is we'll actually add in violent assaults because we also want people that commit violent assaults off the streets too. And people will go, thank you, Jedmatch. Instead, it's like, I don't know. I don't even know what they're thinking here. It's crazy to me. They might be doing it in a way where they don't want it to be shut down by courts. So, I mean, here's the one out you could give them. The courts could shut down Jedmatch and say, oh, it's not constitutional, blah, 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 blah. But if you start making people where they have to opt in, that means people are aware and choosing to be in there and would avoid any kind of permanent shutdown in the future. I mean, I guess that's a possibility. I'm just trying to give them an out, okay? Right.
And I took down the notes from each of those people as I interviewed them. And
yeah, well, anyways, I'll try to find the link that I had earlier, and I'll put it in the description so you guys can go watch it. But I don't want to. It's just kind of broken up. Keep playing it. I don't know. I don't think I have much more for the show tonight. How long have I been on here? 8:30 to now. 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's a long time. Let's see. It's quiet. All right, that's the actual sound it's supposed to be. The level. Yeah, well, here's the thing. What they need to do, I guess the way around it, I was talking to him, would be that if you're law enforcement, you could hire somebody, a third party, and teach them what you need and how to do it. And then they could just sign up and they could do research. And it would sort of be a third party doing the research. But in this case, I guess it took 10,000 hours. I don't think an individual could actually do that. Hey, good night, Nona. Yeah, why is it sticking with you there, Steve? You sound like one of the Molly Tibbetts. Oh my God, just no, keep talking about Canada, 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 Canada. It's boring now. I mean, don't you get it? There's nothing new going on. It's like, what do you want to do now? Go back over the same thing again 100 times? It's like, a guy called up my show. What was his name? George was his name. When I was doing Molly Tibbetts every night, and it really wasn't anything new, and a guy named George called up and said, Gray, listen, man. He was like kind of had an older voice, and he told me, I don't even know if George was real. You know, he almost feels like he was the ghost of crime past or something. You know, like he just called up and he said, hey, you need to move on to, there's a lot more cases out there. And then it was sort of like an epiphany. And I said, yeah, you're right. You know? This Canada case is, yeah, it's weird that they haven't been caught, but what are we going to do about it? Nothing. All right? Hey, everybody, they're still missing. Okay, hope that helps. I just really... nothing's going on. I think that they are so far away from anywhere that they're looking at this point. They kind of blew it, really. And the people blew it by not reporting actual confirmed sightings like right now, right when you saw them. And they should have got the faces out in every single community in the entire country, making sure that everybody saw the faces right away, instead of it was just sort of a big story, because there were a lot of people, they weren't even aware of it days later. Yeah, I don't really do the mass shooting ones. I don't know why. It's just sort of... I always feel like when you cover those, you're just trying to... Like, you're just jumping in on the... Like, when we started covering the Canada case, it wasn't even that big, right at first, right? But the mass shooting one just feels like you're just trying to get the views or something. I don't know. And there's always so much bullshit conspiracy theory stuff going on. You know, oh, wow, there's a second shooter. There's always a second shooter. Always. Every case. Oh, there's always a second shooter. But there very rarely is there a second shooter. Okay? But every time there's a case, everybody says there's a second shooter. It's amazing. And then they try to make sure that it works somehow. Yeah, and they're solved quickly, and it's just, you know, I'll leave those for the Lookners of the world. I mean, I'm sure I'll cover one here and there if it has enough interesting elements to it, like a whole bunch of different locations and things like that. Yeah, well, I won't be covering those, so oh well. I'll probably be doing something else those nights. I did do the one in... Remember the New Zealand one? I mean, that thing... I did that one and I just stopped alive. It turned into an absolute shit show. I mean, I had like 900 people, 1,000 people watching. Everybody was commenting, making crazy comments all over the place. And then I just deleted the video. I didn't even want to have anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, Steve Jones, what do you want me to do on the Canada one? What are we missing right now? I mean, if you can give me something that's new or interesting, I'll do it, but don't see it. Thumbs up, pumpkin. Thumbs up, pumpkin. Thumbs up, pumpkin. Thumbs up, pumpkin. Thanks, Ann Healy. Well, no, it's okay, Steve. It's just I'm not really. I just don't know what to do right now in that case. Yeah, it bugs me that they're out there right now. Hell, they could be right here in the like in Oregon. I mean, I'm not that far away from where they originally came from. But now they're probably more like. Let me look at the map here, just for the hell of it. Yeah, I mean, look how easy. What does the border look like between Canada and Montana? Is it hard to get through there? It just doesn't feel like it would be, right? I mean, it just. Is there any kind of road like right here? Let's see what this looks like. This should be a border. Right, isn't that it? Let me just make sure I got this. So apparently there's a border right around in here. Right? Whoa. Jeez. What the heck was that? So I think that's the border, right? Let's see what this sign says over here. Yeah. Saskatchewan naturally. Now what does it say on the other side? So I think there's just a border right there that goes into the United States. See, there's a flag right there, Canada. I'm not even sure what that is. Apparently you can't drive any further there. And then it starts up again right over here. So this is really old. And so, yeah, this looks like a border crossing. But I mean, what if you're just walking in the middle, like right here, you know? You drive down one of these roads somewhere, and then you just walk into the United States over here. It's probably the most porous border there ever was. I can't imagine them guarding that all along it. There's just no way. Yeah, let's check out this one. This is 2009 right here. And I think you're getting up to a border crossing here. But look, what about over there? Like, just go over on the other side of that hill and just walk right across. Nobody would know. So there you go. There's an actual border crossing. I mean, look at all those armed guards there. Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah, so that's Saskatchewan right there. Okay. Now here's Winnipeg. And you'd go right into North Dakota or Minnesota right there. Easy. Okay. So let's see what the difference here is. I mean, look at the roads here. It doesn't even look like they made a delineation. It's just nice and, yeah, just keep on driving. No problem. It looks like another station right there on both sides. So you come into Canada. Apparently that didn't work. Oh, right there. Yeah. Hey, Canada, it says. And then you look back that way, and when you drive this direction, looks like there's another one starting right there. I've actually never done this before on here, but there's another station there. But this is from 2008, this shot there. Yeah, so at this point, they could literally be anywhere. Yeah. All right, so where are we going to do the flyby tonight? I think I'm going to end the show now. I'm getting sleepy. Great. Did you read the article stating the two drove through a roadblock checking for alcohol and the constables let them in not knowing who they were? No, I didn't read that. And who knows if that's even true. You know what I mean? A lot of stories are out there now. Oh my God, they're right here. Helicopters buzzing around, everybody. Helicopters, look at... Oh, 3 shots fired. Oh wait, none of that actually happened. Oh, forget it. Wow, so your Lanky Tor's great-grandfather was a topographer, so it's very interesting to her. So that must be genetic, like it's passed down, right? Like if your great-grandfather's a topographer, his children are therefore interested, and then you are too. I get it. Wow, that's awesome. Come on, Lanky Tor! So mean, she said. Beware of the dog and capture some audio of vicious dog barking, which I could supply. Huh. Please check out Lanky Tor. You know what? You gotta admit, Lanky Tor is... You know, if you were going to rate admins in the entire spectrum, that's my chair. But hey, by the way, I got a new chair. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like she's probably one of the best admins there ever was, right? I mean, always typing it, even in the comment sections in the videos. That's amazing. I'm going to have to send her a mug, a mod mug. That's right. Yes, email me your address, Lanky Tor. I'm sending you a mug. All right. Yeah, he's from Switzerland. Hell, I might even send her a shirt. Well, no, because it doesn't have the mod mug. I'm still waiting for everybody to give me the addresses who submitted the artwork for the Think Outside the Box mug. Only when the box is filled with facts, all right? So send me your addresses so I can send you that mug probably, or whatever mug you want, really. Oh, you got it? Sarah Beth? All right. Sarah Beth Colargrass. No. I don't want a brown corduroy trench coat. Then I can start my shows off standing on a street saying, just when you thought nothing could happen in a small town. Well, none of us actually think that, so it's hard to... That's right, you're a patron on Patreon. Yeah, so you got to email me your address, Lanky Tor. You know, grayhughes2@gmail.com. Maybe I'll even send you and your husband one, since he likes the show too. in a small town nestled in a village just outside of Saskatchewan. 3 men were brutally murdered. I just invented that. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Come on, Cairo knows exactly what the hell I'm doing there. That guy's pretty good, though. I'll give you that. Oh, it's Claudia Neubauer. I appreciate your reminder button.
I appreciate your reminder button. It helps no notifications anymore. Heart.
I got a reminder button? I didn't know I had one, but thanks. You know, I qualify now to have the members, like YouTube members, but it sort of competes with Patreon, so I don't really know how to do that. I don't think I'll use it. No, yeah, well, just you donate all the time, you know, so. I mean, the thing is, I created a bot to put in comments, but Lanky Tor always types those same comment in. It's like she just types it in. I mean, things I wouldn't ever even dream of saying. This is the greatest channel in the history of the world. This is the greatest channel in the history of the planet. We love everybody. Gray Hughes is the best. You know, she types that stuff in all the time. I'm like, wow, man, that's so kind. I'm not even sure I deserved it, but hey, thank you. Look at that, with those weird areas like that. These little marsh, see that? Look at that crazy shit right there. I mean, how do you even walk through this area here? Oogla boogla. Yeah, I saw the tick too. He took out a lighter and burned it, you know, like the old days, and it just jumped off. He let the tick fill up with about a grape's worth of blood, so it was this massive ball sort of flopping on his leg. And then he took out a lighter and went. It exploded, but it was cool. It just, you know. See how much better that story is than saying you use the. Hey, thanks, Lanky Tor, but you know, I guess I'll use that to send you your mug. Yeah, the tick tornado. Right? But the original, my story
Gray
was better.
Hughes
Okay.
has the most amazing freaks ever. Heart.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's what Lanky Tor says all the time. Hey, how many likes do we have now, by the way? We gotta get that going. What do we got? What are we up to? How many dislikes and likes? What do we got? And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button really quick, because we cover crime all the time. Tonight we've been all over the place. True crime. All right, but if you don't want to hit the subscribe button, don't do it. I got 23 dislikes. Wow, it's like every night the same people. It's awesome though. I'd like to get the dislike number up a little bit too. Okay, so let me go ahead and hit the auctioneer sound and get that going. Okay. Hit the like button, 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 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, 5 and 20 and 20 and 30 and 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 50, 65, 70, 70, and 80 and 90. Okay. One more time. Antoine, and 30, and 1 hit the like button, 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 hit the like button.
25 of them, you're out.
Oh, and sold.
30 now, 5. I'm 35.
Yeah, there we go. Ginger Snap said, I'm trying to find this story so I don't have to ask what happened, but nowhere to be found. Don't know what story you're talking about. Wouldn't that be great? Yep, we're kids at heart. And 20, and 20, and 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Hey, pretty soon I'll be able to do it all by myself. I won't need the and 20, and 20, and 25, 30, and 35, 40. That's okay. Let's see, you can ask. It's all over here. Yeah, I don't even know what she was referring to, what case or anything. Is known for border jumping. It seems like it'd be really easy to go from Canada to the United States. Like, simple. Without showing a passport. There's hundreds of miles of nothing in between different roads. Simple. It's not like, and I don't think there's not even a road on them. They're just sort of in somebody's yard. I wonder if somebody actually owns property in both countries. You know, like some of these people, I mean, not that it has anything to do with anything, but, you know, Jim Smith here. Does he own a parcel of land that's right here that maybe owns some of this too, right? See, that's the border right there, this little icy road. You don't think it'd be easy for somebody just to walk across there? Hell, there you go. Get in the river here and scuba dive underwater right to there and then come out. And 20, and 20, and 25, 30, 35, 40, 40, 40, 40, 50. Ben 30, Ben 30. All right, gotta get that moving up. Yeah, I'm sure they have a few border patrol agents. I guarantee it, it's nothing like the southern border. Guarantee it. Zion Park. Hey, there we go. And 30. Oh yeah, that's some cool stuff right there. All right. Where do we start? Right there. Okay, like it. I don't like when Google Earth does that though. I like it when it's, yeah, most of the time it's pretty good. All right. All right, so before we go, thank you to Jas H. These are super chats. Nikki No, Cairo Al Qadir with the big super chat where he was talking about how he's being attacked on another YouTuber channel just for asking a question. And then Steve Jones, Steve Snapper Jones. Delusional Lucidity, Nona 617, Kit Kat, Cairo again, Lanky Tor, Ann Healy, Sooner History, Claudia Dubauer, and then Rhonda Adams and Lanky Tor again. All right, now let me check one other place that sometimes we get contributions Well, actually, we're getting really close to making another donation, by the way. I think right around the first. Let's see. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's something else. Okay, well that's it. I was looking to see if there was something that came through on PayPal on Gmail, but there wasn't one on there. All right. How about the? I'm gonna do this one. We've already got one. I've done the Niagara Falls like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, I've done the Grand Canyon about 3 or 4 times too, or 5 times. I've done Grand Canyon a million times actually. It's one of the better ones. Maybe I'll do that too. But let me start off right here. Maybe we'll do two songs tonight. What do you think? Two loops. Well, maybe we'll do 3. We'll add in the short one with Audra Blankenship's music at the end. Go! The Grand Canyon.
Good night, freaks!
Yeah, me and Daro argue about the Justin Ross Harris case like we hate each other. It's crazy. There you go, Steve Jones. You got your Grand Canyon.
Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I
Good night,
done,
freaks!
alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Of all the comrades that dare I've had, they are sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts that dare I've had, they would wish me one more day to stay. And if it falls into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I will gently rise and I'll softly call. Good night and joy be with you all. Good night and joy be with you all. Of all the money that ever I had.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for showing up tonight. See, I got your Grand Canyon in there for you, Steve Jones. Steve Snapper Jones. All right, and thank you all for supporting the channel, either watching or contributing, and it allows us to, contribute too. Because on the 1st, we'll be donating. I'm trying to figure out, should I go back to Texas EquiSearch or do the exploited and missing children. I guess we can figure it out. But there you go. Are you sick, sassy investigator? Yeah, no problem. All right. So there you go, everybody. And by the way, this is Audra Blankenship's music. Her band is called Ravens 3, and you can find her CD online. It's pretty. It's really good stuff. I got the whole thing. This is my favorite song on there, but there's a whole bunch of good ones. All right. I just can't play the other ones. Somehow this one she was able to get off of the copyright thing for me. All right. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate you coming here. I hope people don't get too offended sometimes when I say things back and forth. It's just kind of the way I am, Till next time. All right, everybody. Thanks for showing up tonight. And Blue isn't around, but we did give him a bath tonight. He's crazy. One of these times we'll have to play when he has his bath, because he just attacks the towel and rolls all over it and stuff. It's entertaining all by itself. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up tonight. And until next time, be safe out there.